I went to Spain for a week and a half with the Pentax 6.7, and I started in a little town called Almeria because I wanted to shoot in the desert, and not just any desert, I wanted to shoot in the Tabernas Desert, which is where they filmed all of the spaghetti western films from the 60s, like The Good and the Bad, The Ugly, Fistful of Dollars, all that, good stuff. So that's where I wanted to go. I wanted to shoot western sets, landscapes, you name it, and that is what I did. But first, I have a friend called Amber who lives in Almeria. So we stayed with her for a couple days and met up with her, and she showed us around, had some Almerian specialties, like this Americano pink alcoholic drink thing. You gotta start your holiday by getting drunk. It's like, why not? Especially if you've got to lug this thing around in the desert in December. This camera is definitely not for the faint of heart when it comes to traveling. I don't really recommend it as a travel camera, but it's to me kind of a sort of perfect system. The 6x7, you can't really go wrong with it if you want to do landscapes. Street, you kind of don't really need it. Portraits as well, perfect, but you're not going to be taking that many portraits on holiday unless you're extremely social, which I guess I'm not in Spain anyway. Yeah, the 55mm has pretty much no distortion to it. It's super sharp. I love 6x7. I just wish it wasn't so heavy. So if the camera wasn't enough, I also brought an absolute stupid amount of film. Slide film, Provia, T-Max 400, Tri-X 400, color gold, I got Portra, I got Ektar. I took way too much film. That meant I also had to take filters, like polarizing filters, ND filters, warming filters. So I definitely brought way too much. So enough about how much money I wasted on film. After having drinks, Amber took us around the rest of the town where I took my first images. I especially like the ones around the old city walls. You can see how the polarizer has darkened the sky. It pretty much came out exactly how I wanted it to. And then we spent the rest of the day looking at the Christmas lights and then hit the hay for the next day, where we woke up bright and early and drove to the desert. I had brought a massive bag of stuff, 2 tripods, the camera, the lenses, the filters, everything, the whole shebang. I wanted to film it on my shoulder, everything. Turns out we're not alone on this tour. There's a whole bunch of other people. So it was a pretty tight squeeze, but it was fun. We drove around the desert for a bit and I took quite a lot of photos. We stopped off at this particularly cool ruined farmhouse, and this tour was going on, and he was talking about aqueducts and whatnot. I don't know. He was talking in Spanish, but I only had 5 to 10 minutes. I could have easily spent like half an hour to an hour here just photographing these ruins. But I had to be quick. So a lot of these shots are very, very fast. So the tour was it was great. It was great. It was really cool. It was really interesting to learn about all the different areas of the Tabernas Desert where a lot of TV shows and stuff were filmed, but not too much Western stuff. I wanted to see Western stuff. We'd seen the ruins, we'd seen landscapes, but I wanted some cowboy tomfoolery. That sounded weird. Anyway, I wanted to see a Western film set. So we went to Fort Bravo. So as we were getting to the town, there was like an actual performance going on. It kind of ended as soon as we arrived, but in a way that was a good thing because all the crowds kind of dispersed and went home. And I was kind of let on my own, able to walk around the town. So that's exactly what I did. Area. Very cool. And this is where I actually started to concentrate quite a lot. I was looking for, really nice areas of the little town where I could photograph the buildings and the stables, and there was so much to photograph. But again, I was with my friends. I didn't want to push them, so I was still quite wary about the time. I'd love to go back there actually. It's another one of those places where you could spend like hours there probably photographing.
So at this point, a lot of the performers had stopped on their coffee break and smoking and whatnot. And we saw one just outside the tavern. And I was like, oh, I'd love to get his photo. So my friend Amber spoke to him in Spain and I got it.
So I'd taken quite a lot of photos around the town. I think I got some really nice ones of the town center. There's a little church with a cat. I love that photo. As we were leaving, I was walking back towards the car park and I saw all of these ruined cars in kind of a junkyard area, and I had to take those photos because they looked awesome. And it was golden hour. You couldn't drag me away from that area even if you tried. So I was walking to this area and my friends were going, Alex, we're leaving, we'll go to the car park, hurry up. And I was like, I have to get these photos. So I took them very, very quickly, but they are some of my favorite photos from the entire trip.
all in all, I don't think I quite captured the Old West I had envisioned in my mind, but I still love the images. I love doing landscapes, I love traveling, I love exploring. You know, it was such a fun adventure, this whole thing. And I'm really happy with some of the images, other than one thing. I kind of wish I hadn't used a polarizer, because as you've probably noticed, there's like this sky effect that you get with the polarizer where half the sky is dark and half the sky is bright. I really don't like that. And it's very, very difficult to change in post. So if I was gonna do the whole thing again, moving forward, I'd probably use a graduated ND filter instead, just to get a little bit of darkened skies. But that being said, they turned out really cool. I'm really happy with what I got. So I'm definitely gonna be doing this whole thing again. The only problem is the Pentax 6.7's weight. Now I did have a lot of arm pain after this trip, but no pain, no gain, right? Right? Now this was only our first 2 days in Spain. There's loads more to show. So I'm gonna leave this here. I mean, actually, sneak peek. We're talking street photography. We're talking night photography, more landscapes, countryside, castles, everything. It's crazy, okay? Some of these images are really cool. So I hope you look forward to that as much as I am. Thank you for watching. If you made it this far, I'll see you guys in the next one.